All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting, Thursday, June 11th, 2020. Welcome to everyone. Do we have a confirmation of agenda?
Yes, just the agenda is as written.
Okay, motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Evening, Mark. Do we have approval of the meeting minutes? Has everyone read the minutes?
Yes, indeed, they're beautiful.
I think I read them.
Thank you. Nicely written as always. Motion to approve meeting minutes as written.
So moved.
We'll do a roll call. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes, aye.
Aye.
I thought there was an edit. I was trying to remember if it was this one or last one. Sorry.
Okay. Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Motion is approved. Do we have any accounts payable?
We do have one invoice that we have to address, and it's a $1,200 invoice for printing our entire wetlands bylaw in the Ayer Shirley tracker in two successive editions at $600 a piece. And
it was in two editions?
It was.
Because it was too long for one?
No, it I talked to the town clerk today, and she said that yes, indeed, a brand new bylaw has to be published in two successive editions of a local newspaper. And that's just the way it is. So she had a hard time finding a paper during the beginning of our shutdown, and felt really fortunate to get the Ayer Shirley tracker to take us on.
Yeah.
So it's printed twice, not split in half, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Make sure I understood that. Thank you.
Yep. And I've got a copy of the actual edition of the newspaper where we take up 3 full pages.
So that's a pretty good price if you're taking 3 pages for $600.
I think so. When you consider that our regular public hearing notices for that, something the size of your thumb in a newspaper costs $100. It seems like a bargain.
Yeah.
So I think in your electronic, you know what? I was smart enough to bring the Ayer Shirley tracker home. Here we are. This is 2 of our 3 pages of bylaw. I think in your electronic packet there should be our budget report.
Yep.
From the 28th of May. And we've got a line called, let's see, between public hearing expenses or other charges and expenses. I think we've got $1,400 in other charges and expenses that we could pay this invoice out of that line.
Right, I see that. Any comments or discussion about paying this from the other charges and expenses?
No.
Why did we use that money for last year?
I honestly don't remember. I'd have to look it up.
It's the end of the fiscal year, so we're probably not going to have any other big charges coming along.
Probably not in the next 2 weeks, no.
Right.
So what line are you saying you want to take that from?
The last two.
Yeah, I think we could take it all from that other charges and expenses. If we have, yeah, $1,402.50.
I'd actually suggest using up the public hearing expense just first, just to show that we use that.
We'll pay 400 from that and the bulk and the rest of it from other charges and expenses.
Good point.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on that?
No, I like Jess's suggestion, so that works.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Well, so the only other thing to quickly talk about is I know that Robert, our town manager, and Carly are really busy planning town meeting, which is this Monday. So I haven't gotten an answer back on who actually signs this invoice. I think when we changed forms of government from town administrator to town manager, there was a change in who can sign off on invoices. I think I can sign this one. But after the dust settles on town meeting, this is something that we should probably have a talk with Robert about so that we know going forward how we're supposed to handle this.
Well, I mean, some of it's still whether we want to hand over that control or not over our own budget.
Yeah, and I think that's a good discussion to have with Robert. But for the time being, if it's all right with you all, I will sign this and get it to accounting. Maybe I'll go in tomorrow just to do that, or maybe I'll bring it in on Monday, but soon.
So we didn't take a vote to actually authorize paying this one, so we should do that.
Right.
Yep.
We usually do. Make a motion to approve payment of $1,200 to the Ayer Shirley Tracker, 400 to come from our public hearings line, and the other remaining 800 to come from our other charges and expense line.
Second.
All right, we'll do a roll call for this one. Is there any other discussion before we vote? Okay, all in favor. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. So motion is passed. So, let's see. Our first item this evening is a public hearing that's continued at NOI Ayer DPW Spectacle Pond PFAS Treatment Plant, DEP number 100-0443. How are we, well, before, how are we proceeding with that?
I would recommend that we continue this because we don't have language from Natural Heritage yet regarding a future turtle protection plan.
Okay. Is that in the works?
It is in the works, yep.
Okay. Is there any discussion about this? No. Okay. Motion to continue the public hearing, Ayer DPW Spectacle Pond PFAS Treatment Plant, DEP number 100-0443 until our next meeting, which will be
June 25th.
June 25th.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
I,
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Motion to continue until June 25th. We did receive on the certificate of vote. That's something that we can proceed with now. That's correct, Joanne.
Yes, indeed. It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Yep.
So that means that you can physically sign documents with our approval, our recommendation, and we just have to have our name on the document.
Yep. Yep. And you'll see later on in the agenda, we're going to get to do that a number of times.
That's great.
Yep.
That's good news. All righty. So our next item this evening is public hearing. Continued notice of intent to 0 Washington Street Air Solar 2B, DEP file number 100-0444. How are we proceeding with that?
Well,
Good evening.
we've received a memo from Ecotech with their preliminary comments from Art Allen, who's up there in the right-hand corner, as well as Graves Engineering, and then some questions to be answered from the solar engineers. And we received at like 5:38 p.m. a request from Kyle that I should distribute a document, which, Kyle, I'm not going to do that an hour before a meeting. So whatever it is you have, you're going to have to tell us about it. So that's where we are today. I left in your doorways a colored up copy of the plan at 11 by 17, just so that we had something a little bit bigger than I could screen share with you. And so that's what we've got to work with, Kyle and Cal and Rohit and Art.
So do people how do you want to proceed with this as far as the report on the peer review?
Well, I would suggest that we have Art run through the memo that they sent. Art, if that's all right with you.
Fine with me.
Yeah, would you please do that for us?
Thank you. This is Arthur Allen from Ecotech Incorporated, a wetland scientist. I'm coordinating the peer review along with Graves Engineering, who's doing the civil engineering review, and Neo Vertis Engineering, who's doing the electrical solar generation shade removal part of the review. I submitted a cover memo, summary draft cover memo dated May 27th, 2020, along with separate memos from Graves Engineering and the Neo Vertis. I'll just summarize. I walked the project site on May 21st of this year. I noted the intermittent stream proposed to be crossed was flowing in a 2 to 3 foot wide channel. Most of the wetland flagging I noted was intact, but the numbering was faded and difficult to read. I recommended that the wetland flagging be refreshed prior to and maintained during construction if we get to that point. I also noted that all of the buffer areas proposed to be impacted are wooded and relatively undisturbed. These types of buffer zones serve to protect adjacent wetlands through shading, runoff filtration, runoff attenuation, and habitat for wildlife within the wetland. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, for some reason the screen went blank, so sorry. I noted on the DEP project information technical comments, they discuss the proposed stream crossing structure, stormwater standards, and reference the natural heritage and endangered species comments. The Graves Engineering memo discusses the proposed stream crossing. They take issue with the double barrel, the two culvert design relative to the required openness, substrate establishment within the culverts, and the configuration relative to the existing stone box culvert, which is the outlet of which is located directly upstream of the proposed double barrel culverts. And I noted that I concur with Graves' concerns and also have concerns about the large riprap level spreader proposed within the wetland at the outlet from the new double barrel culverts. This level spreader constitutes an additional wetland impact that could potentially be mitigated through the use of turf reinforcement mats with native wetland seeding or some similar either mitigation or reduction potentially in that area of impact. Graves also raised a number of concerns regarding the stormwater design, and assuming that the extent of proposed buffer zone alteration is unavoidable, the stormwater design, including rapid site stabilization and vegetation, will be critical to protecting the functions and values of the adjacent wetland. The Neo Vertis memo addresses additional information required in order for them to run their model and perform the solar array shading analysis relative to proposed tree removal and topping associated with the solar array.
Hey, Art,
Yes.
if you don't mind, can you just, you're trailing off just at the very end of your statement. If you could just speak up a little bit more.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you.
Comment 6, the buffer zone tree removal is proposed largely on the northerly side of the wetland, which helps to mitigate the shade removal concerns in terms of wetland shading. But there will be shade removal impacts on the east sides of the wetland along the driveway off Washington Street and adjacent to wetland flags 52 to 57, as well as on the west side of the wetland associated with the solar array in the vicinity of wetland flags 57 to 63. The Neo Vertis analysis will provide some clarification on wetland shading impacts of the solar array and may help to determine whether the proposed buffer zone clearing and topping is actually necessary. Shading impacts associated with the driveway appear to have been established through a process of a neighbor adjudication, which appears to have moved the driveway closer to the wetland, combined with a fairly robust alternatives analysis that was submitted. And apparently, again, the original proposal required less buffer zone clearing, but this was contested by the neighbors. And it came back with the current proposal. It appears the proposal attempts to strike a balance between the competing interests of the neighbors and wetland protection while still allowing access to the project area. I have some general concerns with the buffer zone tree topping associated with the solar array in terms of proposed 40-foot height of topping. The trees proposed to be topped are part of a mature closed canopy forest. In many cases, there are no lateral branches within 40 feet of the ground, meaning that topping at 40 feet will leave a dead tree trunk with no live branches. And unless some live lateral branches are left on the trees, they generally will just die and become standing. I also reviewed the Oxbow Associates Wildlife Habitat Evaluation for bordering vegetated wetland and bank, and found it to be representative of existing and proposed site conditions, and noted that due to the presence of priority rare species habitat A detailed evaluation for Blanding's turtle is required, and it's my understanding that that analysis is in preparation but has not been submitted. Also note that the area falls within the Petapawag area of critical environmental concern, ACEC. Direct impacts to wetlands are being proposed under the limited project provisions of the Wetlands Protection Act. Therefore, these impacts within an ACEC are permittable, provided they've been avoided, minimized, and mitigated to the extent practicable. The submitted documentation includes a comprehensive alternatives analysis as well as a narrative description of project history. Given this documentation, it would appear the project meets limited project criteria and is permittable within the ACEC. And that's the summary of my comments. At this point, I did not invite the engineers to attend, namely because I was able to summarize their concerns, and they're waiting for additional information that they've requested in order to proceed further with their reviews of the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very helpful. So there's work to be done.
Yes.
And any comments from the commission?
Make a response and presentation discussion.
Please.
Just the one thing I had a question on in the Graves Engineering one was how significant did you feel their comment, their second comment was in terms of there being no mention of whether it was evaluated as an outstanding resource water? Is that a significant issue, or is that just a?
It does, because it changes the extent of stormwater treatment required. So that could be significant. Yes.
Does this project require an E&F filing?
No, it does not.
No, I'm not aware that it does.
Yeah, just because every project in an ACEC other than one single-family home requires a filing.
If there's state permits involved.
Okay.
So Art, could you check that?
Yes, I can, and I might want to mention that if a conservation and management permit is required for the Blandings turtle, that would constitute a state permit.
At this point, we're not anticipating that'll be required.
Okay.
Any other comments? Cal, do you wish to?
Yeah, please. So we've got these comments. As Joanne said, we were going through them this week, and we did put together a reply, which Kyle will go through with you all. A lot of the discussion has to do with the culverts and the stream crossing, and if you'll recall, way back in the beginning, we noted that that we were not going to meet or try to meet the stream crossing standards, given the fact that this was a fairly small water course with very little bit of discernible channel downstream of this, and Kyle will talk some more about that. And this is not in an ORW. It's not an outstanding resource water. It would be significant if it was, but it is not, so that's not going to be an issue for us. And Rohit is working on the Neovertis data, and we'll get that to them through Joanne so that they'll have that to respond to. And basically, we would like to go through and address these comments to the extent that we can tonight. But there are certain comments that I think would be, and we talked about this right at the beginning when we first started talking about getting a peer review engineer, that really the most efficient way to handle it would be for us to be able to converse directly with Graves' engineer, tell them what we were thinking, have them ask us their questions, have a dialogue with them, and come to an understanding of why we did what we did and whether they agree with us or would like us to do something different. I think Joanne had said she would want to be on any of those calls, which is fine. I would expect that. But it will greatly streamline the process and keep you from having to sit through a lot of back and forth technical discussion, although certainly if anybody's interested, they could join the call. We'll do it as a Zoom call whenever it's convenient for everybody. But I think that'll speed things up a little bit and be able to address these things. I think Kyle does have, he wants to go through his responses or our responses to some of the stuff here that we're prepared to address tonight, and maybe answer some of the questions that have been raised. Kyle, would you like to take it from here?
Actually, Kyle, before you get going, Cal, it really is up to the commission how they want the transfer of information to go.
Well, it is, and we had that discussion at the beginning, and I thought that you and the commission had said that would be an efficient and acceptable way to do things, to allow us to be able to converse directly with the engineer.
No, I don't recall us saying that at all. Could somebody on the commission correct me?
Yeah, I guess I thought it was, via communication, email communication through you, basically, something to that effect.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we can check the notes, but I don't know if we actually talked about a Zoom meeting or, something like that. But
fairly certain we did talk about us being able to converse directly with the review engineer. And it's not unusual. I used to do reviews for the town of Maynard for years, and it greatly streamlined the process by being able to have a discussion with the design engineer and raise my questions and have them answer my questions for me and explain things that I may not have seen or noticed in design. So it's, I'm not trying to pull anything over on the commission. I just think it's a much more efficient way to do it. And it's also a much longer discussion than I would think you would want to have in your meeting.
Well,
and I appreciate that, Cal. I think I just don't think I remember that we actually said to have the meeting. I'm open to talk through with the commission, and we can discuss if that's something we're all willing to do. But I just don't think we actually did that. So I'm not saying no to it. I'm just bringing that up.
Okay. Well, I remember asking it. So if you don't remember saying it, that's okay. But I remember asking it.
I do remember we did discuss it a little, but it was all clearly that any contact still had to pass through and under the eyes of Joanne.
Right. That's what I remember as well.
In terms of going through points tonight that Kyle, you're going to go through, we just have to be very mindful that we have a limited time for this Zoom meeting. We have other things on our agenda. So,
which also goes to my point.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. I'm at home, which is sometimes unusual for technology to function properly. So regardless of whether the commission had a memory of talking about the process of this moving forward and how we resolve these comments, I would like to request the commission, in the valuable time they have tonight, open that discussion up and consider having Joanne included, or any of the other members included, in a discussion with the peer review engineers. This is a vital part of the process, and I'd like the commission to give us a read on that, quite frankly, because we can spin around for a long time in short meetings, constrained by schedules, and drag this out. And that's not a good use of anybody's time.
All right. Would you continue with your comments on the peer review?
Sure. I thought the peer review comments were in good order. There is some work to do, as you say, Mr. Chairman. The file that I sent to Joanne, which she didn't forward around, but I think probably reached the majority of you, was simply a comment response letter to try to help and advance us in this meeting tonight. So some of the comments from Graves were talking about wetland flags being refreshed, and yes, they shall be refreshed prior to and maintained during construction. They also talked about, as Art mentioned, the ACEC, the ORW, and the potential for a critical area, and we do not have that. Graves also had a comment about the level spreader, which Art mentioned. We can talk about methods of reinforcing this, but again, that's probably worthy of an engineer direct discussion with any mediation the commission deems appropriate. We can add calculations to that as well, which is one of the other Graves comments. They mention a typographical error. Certainly, as we revise any drawings or plans for their continued review, we'll capture that. The groundwater recharge calculations were requested to be reviewed, and we will review that. The total suspended solids removal calculations were requested to be reviewed and verified, and we shall do that. I apologize, my sheets are out of order. The question about the tree topping is within the commission's purview and certainly will be informed by the information that will be coming to Neo Virtu. It's our outlook that yes, there will be trees that will die as a result of the tree topping. There is no question. There will be understory, dormant seeds and trees and things that will grow up as a result of that tree topping. There will be a change in habitat that occurs, and we hope that the commission will see the benefits in that. There is a evaluation at NHESP about the Blandings turtle habitat, whether or not what is proposed will constitute a take, and that is ongoing and is in the hands of Oxbow Associates. So there's a comment number 7, also a second comment about total suspended solids in subcatchments 1.3, 1.6, and 1.7. There are no impervious areas in these subcatchments, but we will review those calculations. Another comment about the level spreader for dimensions, and we will add those to the plans and details. There's a comment about monitoring wells and drawdown devices in any of the infiltration facilities, and those will be added to the plans and details. There is a request for additional calculations at various cross sections for drainage ditches. We can do that. Again, it would behoove us all to know where it is that we'd like to see those calculations. There's also a follow-up comment about velocities and so on within the drainage ditches, and of course we will provide any additional calculations that are requested. We'd like to have that specified where they want that analyzed, as there is quite a length of them. There is mention of the tree box filters and operations and maintenance plan, about the frequency and the types of tasks in order to clean them, and certainly we shall do that. There's another comment about shrubs versus trees recommended in the tree box filters. The plantings in the tree box filters were the subject of extensive conversation with the Conservation Commission on the last go-around of this plan. And I would like to just add that that is a portion of the plan that is not changing from the previously approved plan.
Oh, that one's sort of irrelevant because we're looking at this with fresh eyes, as it were.
What, the comment from Graves is irrelevant?
No, not the comment from Graves, just whether it was previously the same on the previous plan that was previously approved. That doesn't matter right now. We're just looking at this.
No, but it does speak to the fact that we've had this discussion before, and what we're showing was a result of a discussion with the commission last time around. So if it's not acceptable this time, just understand that it was last time. That's the only point we're making.
And as Cal had opened up with, talking about the Massachusetts River and Stream Crossing Standards, comments 15 through 19 are identifying deficiencies with the stream crossing standards. Our NOI narrative addressed all deviations from the Massachusetts River and Stream Crossing Standards with a due justification based on 2 points. Number one, the stream channel dissipates and does not exist more than 20 feet downstream or so. And there's no downstream representative cross-section from which to derive a width of the culvert. Also, number two, the stream channel does not appear to provide any migratory corridor between disconnected habitat features. That's a quote from the Oxbow Associates Wildlife Habitat Evaluation of that intermittent stream channel in that area of the stream crossing. So these comments, number 15 through 19, are point number one. First and foremost, why we would request the commission to allow us the dignity to have a person-to-person, just a vocal conversation with the commission chaperoning, being a part of it, being there and present. There would be no reason for us to want to try to subvert that at all, and that was never has been our implication. It seems only reasonable to allow us to have that conversation. The last comment from Graves was talking about final stabilization of ground surfaces, including the solar array area, inside and outside of the fence. Slopes, swales, stormwater basins, etc. must be identified. Loam and seed, erosion control blankets, etc. We do have a narrative to that effect on sheet C 7.1. We could certainly embellish that. There was one more point, I'm sorry, my sheets got out of order with respect to the second comment from Graves that The submitted plans and stormwater report make no mention of the Pettapawag ACEC. I just wanted to point out that is on the cover sheet of the plan set, and it encompasses the entire disturbed area of the site. The Neo Virtus comments dealing with the full extent of the details of the photovoltaic array materials and specifications are in process, as Cal said, and we will also provide approximate average tree heights in the topping zone and an approximate ratio of deciduous to evergreen trees in the topping zone. And that's how we will respond with these comments. Does the commission have any questions?
Anyone?
No.
So, well, thank you for addressing these issues. It's greatly appreciated. Let me ask.
Hold on, John. I'm sorry. Didn't you first ask for the types of trees in the tree topping area also? I mean, you're just saying evergreen versus the deciduous, and I'm just curious as to, I guess, why they didn't ask for types of trees that would be there and such. But
I think from a solar analysis, I think their primary concern is, are they going to have leaves, or are they going to be an evergreen type of effect on the shading? That's kind of what they're more focused on. They're not focused on the biology as much as they are the shading characteristics.
I guess I was just thinking more, Cal, about mature height of a tree. If it possibly is less than 40 feet, then no need to top. So that I was just wondering about that too. So, okay.
Yeah, we can give you a general idea of the tree types that are out there. So,
all right, yeah, maybe pass that along too. Then, thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Do we want to get into the conversation of how we feel about allowing GPR to converse with Ecotech and the engineers working for them with our supervision tonight, or?
Fine with me.
Okay. Well, Joanne, are you willing and able to be on Zoom calls with GPR and the engineers to speed up this process?
Well, I think, first of all, speed is not our primary concern here. Our concern is protecting the wetland resources and buffer zones that are being disturbed by this project.
They're not mutually exclusive. One does not preclude the other from happening, Joanne.
Well, I'm just answering John's question. I am not an engineer, and our commission has a couple of engineers on it. I am confident that we, at the last time we were all together discussing this, that this was not how we were going to proceed, that questions were going to be asked and passed along, answered and passed back. I think there's a fair amount of public interest in this project, certainly on the part of the abutters, and having this all be discussed in our usual meeting format when the public can attend, I think is an important consideration. Am I able to do Zoom calls during the week? Yes, I have the technology in the office and we're back full-time in town hall. I don't think it's in the best interest of the commission that that's how we proceed, though.
May I respond to that, please?
Go ahead.
I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I've done it on the side of the commission and the planning boards, as well as on the side I'm on now for the applicant. And this is just simply a way for us to have an effective dialogue with the reviewing engineer to make their life easier and to explain ourselves more fully than we can do in a long, drawn-out written communication. And what typically happens, the way I always did it when I was reviewing plans, is I would meet with the engineer. We would go through things. We'd sit for 2 or 3 or 4 hours or whatever it took until we both understood what was going on. And then I, as the review engineer, would write a follow-up report to the commission, or I would go to the commission or to the planning board and say, this is what we discussed. This is what we agreed on. I asked them to do this. They've agreed to do that. And it just made life easier for the commission and kept the commission from getting down into the nitty-gritty of all the details that we have to do. Joanne says speed is not the objective. Maybe not for her, but for our client who is incurring costs daily on this project and who also has deadlines to meet construction based upon the state's solar requirements. Speed is certainly part of the equation for us. And we're not asking you to rush through anything. We're just asking you to allow us to efficiently discuss this with the review engineer so that he can come back to you and tell you what his understanding is and what we've all agreed to do and make your lives easier and make our lives easier. And certainly if it's a Zoom call, if any member of the public wants to be on it, they're welcome to it. It's just going to be a working session, and that's what we're asking for. And I don't think it's out of line, and I don't think it's unusual. Joanne may not have had experience doing it this way, but we've done it this way, and other engineers have done it this way, and it's just makes life easier for everybody.
Well, I am the commission's gatekeeper, and I'm going to continue to function in that role. And
what are you keeping from the commission? I'm not sure what gatekeeper means.
Be dangerous, Joanne.
We're not trying to do anything other than get this done efficiently. That's all we care about. For our client and for the commission.
Right, and the commission has a different set of concerns. That's all I'm saying.
The commission say that, Joanne.
I'd like to hear from the commission.
Yeah, I'm happy to have the commission say what the commission's concern is.
George, would you give us your thoughts and comments?
I don't think sitting through a long discussion, the engineers at a regular commission meeting is going to be productive based on past experience and the limited time we have at each meeting. So I think this does present some benefits, although I would want to hear at the end our consultant on what was in the discussion and what his final opinions are. And I don't know if that would be included in the current scope or whether we'd have to modify it.
Mark, do you have some thoughts?
I don't believe I'm opposed to, as Kel describes. I just don't know if it can be a public type session, if that's possible. Also, the timing of it, I'm assuming, is it an 8 to 5 sort of thing, or can it be done after hours, such as this meeting? You know, that type of thing. Yeah, I would be interested in trying to participate, but just like them, I have a day job too, so unfortunately that makes it a little bit more difficult for me. But if it could be done somehow after hours, that might not be such a bad thing. But I do, as an engineer, I agree with Cal. Sometimes it's like you start talking past each other in emails, and it's good to just get in front of each other and say, well, what exactly are you trying to say? What are you looking for? So I don't disagree. But yeah, so I just don't know, again, in the realm of what we can do under the Conservation Commission, if it can be open forum for for the public or not. I'm willing to explore it, I guess. I just don't know what limitations we might have.
I'm not, by the way, suggesting that it's posted as a public meeting. You're not going to have a quorum of the commission on it, and you're not going to make any decisions for the commission. I'm just suggesting that if there was somebody on this call that said, boy, I'd really like to listen to that we'd be perfectly welcome to have them or come and do that.
Right.
How about you, Jen? You have some thoughts on this?
I think I'm probably with Mark a little bit. I think that it makes sense. A conversation's often more productive than emails back and forth all day, but I am concerned to make sure that we hear not just the outcome, but kind of the conversation in between as well. So I would like to know more about kind of the logistics of it.
Yeah. How about you, Jess?
Taking notes. Not being an engineer, I don't know that my participation in the working session would be that good. I can see, I think for me, my overriding concern is just that we have eyes and ears. And so if Joanne, and ideally also if you could schedule something where Mark could be at least a part of it, would be fine with me.
We're flexible. I guess it's up to Graves as well. If they could, Mark, could you do it at like 5 o'clock or 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, I should be able to do something like that. Yep.
That certainly we could do that, and hopefully Graves would be able to accommodate us.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards allowing it, and I understand Joanne's concerns and her passions, and it's that's what makes her good at her job. But I think to be able to speak directly and work these things out, not rushing them, but working them out efficiently, is probably a good way to go.
That's our goal.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Is this something that we need to vote on?
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so.
It's not an action by the commission.
All right, so I think as long as Joanne's available and if Mark's available, I feel like Jess, I have nothing to add to the conversation. As long as we have some eyes and ears on the process, and then you come to us as a commission with your results, I think that would be okay.
If I can, through the chair, this is Arthur Allen.
Yes.
Yeah, I would expect, we've all of us on the peer review side have carried 2 meetings. The engineers were not on this meeting tonight, so I'm sure they'd be willing. They're all used to working evenings, so I'm sure we could accommodate an evening session for this technical review meeting. I would like to request that we receive copies of both the applicant's response letter that was referenced earlier and their additional supplemental information prior to scheduling that technical review session, so we have as much documentation in front of us as possible and have some time to prepare for that session.
Yeah, I think before the session, we'd want to have all the information that you've requested at least passed along, right?
Yes.
Is there any hindrance to be able to do that? I don't think so, right?
To the extent that we know which ones we're taking action on, we can. To the extent that there's some that we need to discuss, obviously we wouldn't be able to do those.
Okay.
That's right. I think the primary one being the stream crossing, which is more of a discussion than launching into a whole new design process.
Well,
we have to remember that when DEP issued the file number for this project, they also had issues with the stream crossing.
Have we received that information, Kyle?
Yes, when the file number was issued.
Oh, it was in the letter? Okay.
Yep. And it's on the portal too. You can go to the NOI, look up all the comments are right there. But I know I've sent them along.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, thank you.
Joanne, if possible, could you reach out to DEP and determine if do they see any concerns with this? Is that something actually that they might even want to participate in this this open discussion on it, or not?
That'd be a first for us.
Yeah, but again, I'm new to it, so I'm asking if that's a possibility, or if that's something that I have no idea.
Yeah,
I can absolutely ask. I am taking from their comment when the file number was issued that their expectation is that the crossing will meet stream crossing standards.
Okay. Yeah.
But I can certainly ask.
Okay, great.
Is there anything else to be discussed right now about this? We have a lot to do in a short time.
Yep, we do. We really, I would recommend that we wrap this up so that we can get to the rest of the agenda.
No, I agree. We can just pass along emails, Concom emails, and figure out a date then. If we can push it to July, I have Fridays off in July, so that'll help.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Bonnie Tillotson here from 15 Oak Ridge Drive. Are you taking comments or questions from the public at this
please.
time?
Yep.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. I've been listening. So I have couple comments and a question. One comment is, it appears to me that the total cost of this project build out is pretty large. What is the total valuation over 25 years, which is sort of the lifetime of a solar array? I mean, I'm envisioning that this would probably be built and sold off as an investment. Given that the price of oil right now is so low, it could stay low for years. We don't know. This might not be a win-win for the investors over time. And I just want to pose a question for the investors, if you will. Would there ever be, or would there be an opportunity, after some consideration of the total cost, of basically selling this parcel to the town? I know it's 3 parcels. There's probably, I think there are 2 investors. I'm just throwing it out there because the parcel is actually really nice in terms of the connectivity from the rail trail to Groton Harvard Road. There's a existing trail. It's, as you know, it's a nice wetland. It's under a power line, which is nice for a solar array, but it has so many other benefits to the town of Ayer. You guys probably know my feeling about it, but I'm just asking as an economic question, what is actually the overall cost benefit over time to actually put in this development? And, it might not make sense, given all the current issues at hand. Anyway, that's my comment, and I will end right there. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you, Bonnie. I'm not sure we can.
Yeah, I think that's above our pay grade. I don't think it's relevant to our notice of intent filing.
All right, is there anything else? Okay, is there a motion to continue notice of intent 0 Washington Street Air Solar to Um, DEP file number 100-0444 until June, our next meeting at June 25th.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye, so we shall continue the hearing on June 25th.
Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman, could I just say one thing?
Yes, sir.
Message to Bonnie Tillotson, if you could send me your email address, I will put you in touch with the owner, and he may be able to carry on your discussion offline with you about your question.
Thank
Oh,
you,
that's great.
Cal.
That's great. Thank you. You hear that, Bonnie?
Yes, I said thank you, Cal.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, so let's move on. The next item this evening is Ken, did you wish to speak on this?
I'm content with listening to the commission tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I saw you, then you went away. The next item this evening is a public hearing, notice of intent, continued. Shaker Mill Pond Open Space Residential Development, DEP file number 100-0437. How do we stand on that?
I'm very happy to say that we received a book and page recording our certificate of vote, authorizing me to sign in ink over your, or in addition, I guess, to your electronic signatures for permits and determinations that we issue during the time of the state of emergency. So I have a completed and edited and accepted order of conditions for this project. I see John Boardman has joined us. Hi, John.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Good evening, John. Nice to see you.
Congratulations to your daughter, John, on 8th grade graduation. That's a milestone.
It was a tough year.
No kidding.
So John and I have been back and forth and edited the daylights out of this document. And it's set to issue on Monday. It has to be sent certified mail. It's also going to include the letter regarding the appeal period. That is a new twist that we have to contend with during the state of emergency, that instructs the applicant to email DEP and send a hard copy letter to DEP
I'm on a meeting. Quiet.
asking if DEP intends to appeal. So that we've got a package ready to go.
That's great. That's great. So is this, so we vote on it?
Yes, please.
Are there any comments from the commission? Are there any comments from anyone listening in? Okay. Motion to approve the notice of intent. Shaker Mill Pond, DEP file number 100-0437.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Yes?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Motion is passed. So,
Comment.
please. Oh, sure.
The motion correct, Joanne. You're not motioning the notice of intent. You're motioning the order of condition.
Order of conditions.
The
I'm
order
sorry.
of condition, right?
So do you
Yes.
need to revise the motion to make it official is my question.
Yep, I'm sorry. Okay, motion to approve the order of conditions on Shaker Mill Pond Open Space Residential Development, DEP file number 100-0437.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Motion is moved. Thank you, Ken, for
Yes, thank you, Ken.
checking my misspeaking there.
I figure you put all that work in. You don't want it to be wrong on appeal.
I'm glad you're paying attention. Thanks.
Appeals
Oh.
because you voted for the wrong thing. I'll be.
All right.
Here it is.
And we also have to do a motion to close the public hearing separately now.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing on Shaker Mill Pond Open Space Residential Development, DEP file number 100-0437?
So moved.
Seconded.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess? Jess?
Oh, aye.
Okay. Chairman votes aye. Motion is passed. All right.
Well, thank you all very much. It's good to see everybody happy and well.
Good to
Yeah,
see
it's
you, John.
good to
Thank
see
you.
you too. John, I'll have this in the mail, certified mail on Monday morning.
Can you send it directly to Dan Aho at his address? I can confirm it for you as opposed to, because if not, it'll sit in my office for 2 days and then it'll have to go around the horn.
Yeah, no, I can send it to New Hampshire.
Clean socks. Clean socks.
All right. Sorry, my kid's in the background.
Oh.
Luke.
Yep, I'll send it to Dan.
Appreciate it. And his attorney will take care of recording it directly, so that works.
Okay, very good.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
It's after 8:00. It's 8:06.
Yeah, we've got to fly through the rest of this.
Yep. Our next item this evening is a public hearing, continued notice of intent, Woodland Way, 270 Woodland Way, David Grubb, DEP file number 100-0442.
And there is David Grubb joining us. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, David, how are you doing?
Doing well. It's a whole
All
new
right, good.
world since I saw you guys last.
Yes, indeed. Yep, that's for sure. So we are ready to proceed with this.
We are ready to proceed. It's the same situation. Dave caught some editing oversights on my part, for which I am grateful. I've discussed with him the appeal situation. That letter with the contact information for DEP is ready to go also. I've got the language on this order of conditions regarding my being able to sign in ink. You are all signing electronically. We're good to go.
Okay. And are we voting on orders and conditions on this particular
Yes.
one?
Yep.
Is there any comments from the commission?
That copy you sent out, is that final?
No, there's been, let's see, since Gary Schimmel is not involved in this, his name is no longer on it, and there was a discrepancy between the Form 5 and the special conditions about how far away the work was from the wetland line, and now it's the same in both places.
Okay. It was also, there's a requirement in there at the end of the project for a letter from a professional engineer and a topographic survey. Do we want to keep that in there?
Oh, we probably don't. Let's see.
Thank you for bringing that up, because my wife and I had talked about that too. We were a little intimidated by that, just the price of it. So if you could remove that, that would be really helpful for us, just given the nature of the project isn't exactly, it probably doesn't meet that requirement to us, but obviously we'll do whatever is required of us.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary for this project.
George, do you recall? Okay, end of construction conditions 30C. So I can just strike that.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
30B and 30C.
30B and 30C. Yep. All right.
Thank you so much for doing that. Honestly, we were a little intimidated to ask to remove things because we don't really know anything about it.
All right. I will reprint those 2 pages and just insert them before I send this out.
That's all I got.
Any other comments?
Nope.
Any comments from members of the audience? So is there a motion to approve the order of conditions as amended at 270 Woodland Way, David Grubb, DEP, file number 100-0442?
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Okay, motion is passed.
All right, I'll make those changes and have that in the mail to you certified on Monday.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you again for working with us through this whole ordeal. So we really appreciate it.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with your project, David.
All right. Thank you. Stay well, guys. Be healthy.
Yeah.
You too.
We have to close the public hearing.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to, I'm so exhausted this evening. Motion to close the public hearing at 270 Woodland Way, David Grubb, DEP, file number 100-0442.
So moved.
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Thank you, Jess, for keeping me honest.
Well, I had already anticipated and written in that vote, so it's like,
Oh. Good. You're so good.
Just one thing before we go on, going back to Shaker Mill. Gary Schimmel's name was in that one too. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Oh, it means that when I cut and paste from one set of orders to the other, I'm very likely to miss something, and I missed somebody's name. So on both of those sets, the draft went out with somebody else's name in them, and it was caught on both sets.
Okay. All right. All right, we'll move on. Our next item this evening is enforcement order updates, 0 Central Ave, John Hillier. And this has to do with the asphalt apron,
Yes, it does.
which magically disappeared.
I'm going to.
and it is 8:12, so
It is. I know.
we need to discuss it in detail. So, other than, hi, Ruth.
Aye.
So the update is that the asphalt has been removed and disposed of properly and legally. We've received a receipt from the asphalt recycling plant for the asphalt being turned in to be processed into new asphalt somewhere else. It was a very workmanlike job. It's neat and tidy. There's no sharp edge. Existing material was raked up to meet the cut in the existing asphalt. And I think we have achieved our objective in getting the asphalt off Ruth's property.
How are you feeling about that, Ruth?
I'm glad the asphalt is gone. I have some other little things that I'd like to deal with, but I don't know that the commission would have to be involved with those. But it does look good. I appreciate that.
Okay. So do we need to close out this enforcement order, or?
Well, I have looked and looked and looked to find how one actually resolves an enforcement order where we achieved what we were hoping to achieve. And George, are you aware of anything in particular that we have to do other than maybe write a letter?
No, I can't recall ever doing anything on any past ones.
No, it does seem like there ought to be some wrap up, but I think we're done. We did hear from Mr. Hillier that he is not planning on attending tonight.
Yep.
So from where I sit, I think we're set with these two particular enforcement orders regarding the pavement.
So you send the letters to both Mr. Hillier and Ms. Schultz?
I think it would be a good idea.
Okay.
I would appreciate it.
Okay, good.
We have, so moving on, unless there's any comments.
I would like to make a comment that I plan to be using some goats keeping down there, and I would, going to start furthest away from the little stream, but I will want to check with you in the future. I know you've been talking about how you've got to get through your agenda tonight quickly, so I don't want to take up your time, but I would like to talk with you about doing the whole area, getting rid of the invasive species, using the goats to do that. So,
Okay, Ruth, that's something you and I can talk about anytime you want to give me a call.
Okay.
Could I just say, I think that was a question that Bonnie Tillotson had about using goats for invasives on her property as well.
She did, and she let me know that where she would be using goats, she's outside the 100-foot buffer.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ruth. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Goat.
So the enforcement order update at 156 Washington Street.
We've received a draft notice of intent from Mike Mazzola. I've got to talk to him about a couple of little things, and I also need to get some checks from him. But that's very much under control.
Okay, very good.
Joanne?
Yep.
And I'm sorry, John, Mr. Chairman, just going back to John Hillier's enforcement order. So this obviously will clear Ruth's enforcement order. John Hillier still has other enforcement orders, and I just want to clarify and make sure that it's somehow or another it's not transcribed improperly, such that this enforcement order, since he has multiple enforcement orders, is the only one that's being quote unquote resolved.
Yes.
I don't know how we capture that, because I'm assuming they all say 0 Central Avenue.
They
John
do.
Hillier, map number, parcel number, but there's no DEP number, but it's so. Yeah.
Go by the date of issue. There's the February 2019,
Okay.
and there's the March 20th one, which are both still outstanding, and it's just the March 4th one that is cleared up tonight.
Okay, so maybe if we can make sure that gets in the meeting minutes, Jess.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Okay. So next item is action item discussing ranking of applications during the pandemic state of emergency. And that's that nice chart that you had, Joanne.
Nice chart. And I'm going to try to screen share that with you. I did, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this quickly.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes left.
I know. I did complete the ranking on that chart, and it looks to me like we would be in good shape to move forward with the Nashua Street RDA. We've received a notice of intent for the enforcement order at Bishop Road. I think we could open a public hearing for that. We've received the request for COC for a unit at the Willows. I think I drove by and inspected that today. I think we can issue that. And I think we can start working on the conservation analysis for 76 Groton School Road. But Stratton Hill and Lot 6 Shaker Road, I think we would do well to exercise our discretion and not open hearings for those just yet.
That makes sense.
So that's my recommendation to you all.
Could I just say on the Stratton Hill ANRAD, this is actually a really good time of year to have the wetland line confirmed. That's what that proposal is for, just resource area delineation, not approving the project. And right now we're flush with vegetation, so I don't know that that one needs to be postponed, because I would postpone the public hearing once they get to the development plans. But I'd personally be more in favor of moving that one forward too. Is there any reason not?
Just that part of it.
Yeah. Joanne, do you see a problem with that, or?
Well, the only reason I would want to postpone it at least a meeting or two is because I think we're going to need to have that line peer reviewed. And if we're working on all these other things, I'm not sure that I can get an RFP out. So it's just a question of how much staff time is available for all of these things. But I do agree this summer would be a good time to get that moving, just not next week or the week after.
So
or not next meeting or the meeting after.
If we're gonna have a peer review of the line, we're also gonna have a peer review of the project, I would assume, so you wanna roll that all into one consultant. So you wanna have one scope.
Yeah. Well, except they haven't filed an NOI for the project yet. They've only filed the ANRAD.
So we have time. I guess is what you're saying.
Yes. And I'm hoping that the confirming the wetland line is going to shape the project. But I don't know, because we haven't really heard anything else from them. The planning board hasn't heard from them either.
Joanne, I'm sorry, which ones did you want to proceed with? I finally got the matrix back up.
Oh, good. The RDA for 71 Nashua Street.
Okay.
The notice of intent for 1 Bishop Road. The COC for 25 Longview Circle. The COC for
130, okay.
130 Woodland Way, which I actually have prepared and ready to go tonight, if we can do it in 7 minutes. And the conservation analysis for Groton School Road.
And the last status for the conservation analysis is we had scheduled a site walk back on March 12th or something like that, or March 15th. And then the shutdown happened, so we never made it to that. It might be worth, before we even think about that one anymore, seeing if, given the economic impact of the pandemic, are they interested in moving forward at all at this point anyways?
Well, that's right. And I think we also need to, at our next meeting, discuss strategies for actually taking a site walk. I know I've heard from several residents that they're very grateful that I'm doing drive-by inspections and that I'm not coming even onto their property. All right, well, in the interest of time, I suggest that we just set this aside, and if it's all right with you, I'll move those few simple projects forward.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Next agenda, that'd be good.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, may I ask a question, please?
Yes, Jeff, yeah.
It's Jeff Tillotson, 15 Oak Ridge Drive. In looking at the agenda, ANRAD for Stratton Hill subdivision. Could someone please tell me the addresses of Stratton Hill subdivision, please? Or is that what we call the Moulton property?
That's the Moulton property. It's off right.
Okay,
Doesn't have
thank
it.
you. If I may, Mr. Chair, just as someone who will be impacted by that, that is a fairly large subdivision. And I would hope that you would see the value of getting out ahead of that as quickly as possible. If it's going to come to us this year, it's going to be a very complex project. It's been in place for a long time. I know very little about it. Joanne is correct in saying it hasn't come to the planning board yet, but it is showing up on our horizon. So I would ask that you think about that as you move forward this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. Any other comments from the commission? Comments from people in the audience? Uh-oh. What just happened?
I think that's all.
So we have 5 minutes. Shall we move on to the next item, which is the request for certificate of compliance, Ridgeview Realty Trust, 130 Woodland Way, DEP file number 100-0275.
All right, this one is the situation where we didn't receive an affidavit upon the sale of this property from the developer to the first homeowner. The first homeowner has since sold the house. There was an affidavit produced from the first homeowner to the second homeowner. So the second homeowner now has the order of conditions in hand. Desheng, the environmental monitor for that project, really oversaw the bringing of that property back into compliance with the approved plan in terms of placement of boulders, placement of shrubs and trees, removal of dirt that had been put over the limit of work. He's provided us photos and an as-built plan, and I feel comfortable recommending that you issue this certificate of compliance. And I've got it, I have it all set to go.
Okay, any comments on that from the commission?
No.
Comments from anyone that's in the audience? All righty, so do we make a motion to approve the COC?
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Motion is passed. All right. We really have 0 time left, so can we move the discussion for what to do with the sheds on Pine Meadow Conservation land until our next meeting?
Yes, we received all the department head comments back, but let's skip it.
Okay.
You need to make a motion to move that or no?
This is
Well, it's just an action item, so.
Okay. Sounds good. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
any conservation office and member updates in the next 2 minutes?
My two most important updates are that Robert, our town manager, has signed our ponds treatment contract.
Oh, good.
And that's been returned to Solitude for their signature. And in my drive-by inspections this week, I noticed wetland flags and stakes on Taft Street, where we have an enforcement order, and the assessor let me know today that the applicant is looking for an abutters notification list, and we have 30 seconds.
Any member comments? Any member comments?
Nice feather.
Red-tailed hawk feather, tail feather.
Is that legal to own?
I think this is legal to own.
Okay. Any other comments? All right. It's nice to see you all. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Votes aye. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.